Here's a picture on him.
Well, welcome you guys to a HeartThread introduction. This is my absolute passion, this HeartThread, and I want to let you know some of the principles because having a sense of some of these underlying principles will also give you a deeper sense when you actually get to experience a session about the power of HeartThread and why it's such a powerful modality. So here is a list of the principles, and the first one is alignment. So alignment addresses the subject of how we are in our bodies. Very often you can see how somebody moves their body, whether they project something by their right shoulder being higher or more forward, or if their left side is more prominent, it tells you an immediate hit about that person and how they relate to the world, but more importantly, how they relate to themselves. So usually the right side is that masculine going forward, trying to get things done. I guess it's the left brain aspect. And those people that move forward with their right shoulder or their right shoulders higher, kind of chronically, will have a tendency to try and assert themselves in the world because they're trying to compensate for a sense of some kind of insecurity. On the other hand, those who use their left shoulder more prominently are trying to show their more spiritual side. So very often you'll find that there's something about them where they're not comfortable in the world of doing, and they are trying to show the world that they're spiritual beings. And there's a certain way you can't quite access them. I'm seeing a smile there. So, you know, there is a little exercise. So let's do this exercise quickly.
Okay.
It's just a quick little mini exercise to help you to align. And it's good when you're about to do something, if you're about to work with people or whatever it is, to take a moment and just feel whether you're in alignment. Now, alignment is not just about right and left with the body, but it's also an alignment with heaven and earth. It's an alignment within and without. So the whole subject of alignment covers a whole variety of experiences: inner, outer, spiritual, material. So we're looking at that, again, at that duality, that sense of having a way to find balance. In a way, instead of calling it alignment, we could call it balance, but because we're also alert to the alignment of our bodies, we're going to use that term. So we're going to do a very quick exercise. It's called the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want you to just sit with your shoulders relaxed, and then I'm going to have you put your left shoulder forward and then bring it back. And we do the same with the right, forward and back. And then we're going to raise the left up and then let it drop. And then we do the same with the right, and we let it drop. So all that does is brings awareness to your shoulders and allows them to find a natural point of balance. There is a whole sequence going from above, then the shoulders, and then connecting with the different chakras, and then connecting with Mother Earth. But I'm going to leave it at that for alignment because I want to move to some of the other principles. But bear in mind, if you ever decided to train to do HeartThread, one of the first things you would take note of is how is this person in front of me? What is their alignment? Is one side more tight than the other? Is one side harder than the other? Is one side raised? Is one side forward? You know, what is that immediate response that I'm going to get when I scan somebody and I'm looking to receive a body impression? The body, what is the body language telling me about? You may already have pinned down one major aspect of that person just through the visual of how they carry themselves. You know, and obviously somebody who's slouched over is going to express that sense of feeling oppressed. You know, somebody who walks with, you know, kind of as if they're going into the wind. They've got this push behind them, this sense of urgency, this sense, I got to get this done, often to the detriment of their inner balance. So these are all under the subject of alignment. I'm going to move you now to the second point, which is connection. So alignment and connection are very similar. They're very much aligned. And what connection is actually the language of the heart, is connection. It's something that everyone longs for. Whether they are out in the world, you know, as a, I don't know, I don't want to characterize people, but those people who seem to be absolutely cold and with no compassion and you know, full of anger and hatred, there is within them that longing to be connected. So part of what we do, and especially when I do a HeartThread session, is I connect us to heaven and earth. I always get us to go and put our feet on the earth and feel Mother Nature beneath us, the great Mother, Mother Earth. And I connect us with heaven above us to that place of source, that connection to the rest of the cosmos, because we're also star seeds as well as being of Mother Earth. You know, even scientifically, we are made of various elements that arrived on this planet. Even bacteria that actually affected humanity way back, they came from outer space. And so we are connected in a very intricate way with all life. And so looking at connection, again, it's looking at alignment in another way, where we're connecting vertically with the Mother Earth, with heaven, and we're actually establishing a column that is our central column. In Buddhism, it's actually called the central column, you know, and there's various meridians that constitute a way of seeing the human form, the human body, from that perspective of meridians. And the central column is, you know, recognized as something that exists within our physiological form and our etherical form. So connecting vertically is one of the first steps of getting oneself grounded so you can function in the world in a more balanced way. It's also a beginning point where we begin with above and below, but then we start to connect horizontally, so that we're connecting with all life, we're connecting with each other as people, as souls, as other human beings on this planet who are experiencing the same kinds of challenges, so it opens itself to compassion. And we're connecting the inside and the outside so that there's balance, there's harmony. Cooperation is an aspect of connection because it's, again, a horizontal experience. We're connecting with the creatures, with the mineral kingdom, so we're also connecting horizontally. And when we go to the next field, the next principle, we're connecting with the heart. And when we go into our heart, we're actually connecting through fibers, invisible fibers, that connect every piece of life, every aspect of life, and every human who has a heart that is beating, that has electromagnetic field that's kind of like a spider web that weaves these threads together. So we go into that place of the heart, which, and I'm now moving to that next field, the next principle is the field of the heart. And the field of the heart is a quantum field, which means that you can be in two places at once. It means that you could be thinking of somebody 1,000 miles away and all of a sudden they'll call you. It means that you can sense something that's going on with somebody else through the airway. It means we can relate to somebody and do a HeartThread session over the phone because we're connected. There's a way in which one can understand that the quantum universe is also a holographic universe, so that every part is connected to every other part. And in some ways, the field of the heart represents that understanding about how we are all interconnected and all life is interconnected, whether it be at the smallest level of the atom and beyond, or the galactic level, at the level of black holes, the level of the Big Bang, the level of understanding the whole weave of life. And when we connect one heart to the other, in many ways we're actually sending out an electromagnetic force field, which we carry, each one of us, and then when we weave it together with others, we're also broadening and expanding that whole field of interconnectedness, so that you can pray and send your heart field, you could send love, you could send healing and prayers for peace to some place on the planet. You may never know that it affected somebody, that one person all of a sudden had a shift in their perspective, and there's absolutely no way you would know or they would know that it actually originated with your goodwill towards some energy outside of yourself. So the heart field is an extremely powerful field. It's about, I don't remember how many thousand times more powerful than the field generated by the mind. The very electromagnetic field in your body has a center in the mind, a center in the heart, and then a center in the solar plexus. And these all work together when you're in balance. When you're out of balance and the body is running the show, then you're not able to be comfortable, you're not able to be at peace, and you're doing things that are not beneficial for your body. When your mind is running the show all the time, it's the same thing. You're running your old programs all the time, you're trying to be somebody you're not, you're trying to please other people. So we have these three levels. Sometimes even the heart can actually be out of balance because it's not in alignment with the mind and the body. And so the purpose of all of this is to come back to balance. And the heart is the field that actually controls that mechanism between those three elements of mind, heart, and body. When we are in that field of the heart, we start to release these old patterns from our body, and we start to live from what's called self-authority. So that's the next principle I want to go to. Self-authority means that you do not bow to anybody else's authority and give yourself away, give your power away, diminish yourself, or feel that you have to go out of your way to please somebody else to your detriment. It means that you don't owe anybody anything, and it means that your decisions come from your own interior inner power. They come from that space of your essence. And HeartThread is like peeling away the layers of the onion. The more we release these old patterns that have been imposed upon us automatically as we were growing up, when we were in the womb. When we were in the womb, we heard and perceived everything around us, and we believed what we heard. We were patterned, we were programmed just by being in that field of the ways of behavior and thinking that our parents inherited from their parents. So these patterns are passed down to us. Or we may hear, overhear a conversation, oh no, it's a boy, or oh no, it's a girl. We may pick up these kind of hidden messages that unconsciously people talk about without realizing how much they can impact a growing fetus in the womb. So we're constantly bombarded by messages, by imprints, and by patterns that we start to believe, that we start to take on, and that we start to feel are who we are. So as we release these patterns through the HeartThread process, we actually come closer and closer to our own essence. We come closer to recognizing who we are, who we're not, and we start to live more and more from that place of our own self-authority, which enhances our ability to tune into our own essence. And so we're also going to follow our heart's longings, our heart's desires, because if we don't, we'll feel frustrated, we'll start to feel like we have to be somebody else or to please someone. We have to do what somebody else wants. So you're going to become a lawyer or a doctor or whatever just so you can make a good living because that's what your parents wanted you to do, but it's not what your heart longs for. And if you don't follow your bliss, your passion, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be aligning with the will of heaven in the Chinese way of seeing things. You're not going to be doing your mission in the world, because your mission is not going to be aligned with doing something you don't want to do, something that doesn't bring you joy. So HeartThread's a way to peel away those layers of the onion. You know, that center of the onion is kind of sweet. So when you get there, you're living from this next principle. You're living from grace. Because all of a sudden, you're finding that there's magic everywhere. That you are in serendipity, that you are all of a sudden you just bump into this person that you, oh my God, what an incredible, I'm so delighted that I missed that bus, or that I was late, because it ended up bringing me to that place where I bumped into this person and we had this absolutely sweet heart connection. So that happens all the time. You're living in grace. The money shows up when it's needed. There's no more angst. You know, you allow the universe to take care of you, and you're in alignment with everything. And that's what I call grace. You're doing your heart's passion. And then, there's no more self-doubt. You've released your self-doubt because you're living from your self-authority, you're living your passion, and you're living from that place of being in your essence. And all of this are principles and the purpose of what HeartThread is all about. So before we actually go into demonstrating what it looks like to have a session, I'm going to take us into that meditation that brings us into that space of the heart, because talking is very nice, but going into that space of the heart takes you to a whole other vibration, and that's where the work happens. So let's put our right hand on our hearts and our left hand on our right, and close our eyes and feel Mother Earth beneath us. Feel the floor, feel the ground. If Mother Earth is not a resonance for you, just feel that sense of gravity, that you're connected to the earth. Everything we are, all of the elements that make up this incredible miracle that is our body, all comes from the earth. All the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water, it's all a gift from Mother Earth. And so we feel this connection with her and our gratitude for her. And we feel that connection in our heart as if there's a column that reaches down into the very center of Mother Earth and establishes our connection with her. And we go there from our heart space, and we receive back that sense of gratitude from Mother Earth through our hearts. And this column that we put around ourselves as we go down into Mother Earth, that's kind of an extension of our central column, is filled with light. And the light penetrates into every cell of our body. And then the column reaches up toward heaven and connects us with that place of source. And again, it can be whatever you relate to, whether it be angels or God or Goddess, whether it be the sense of connection with our star, with our galaxy, with our connection with the star seed, with stardust even. However, it takes us to that place where we received a divine spark that brought life and animated this body, so that the body is not just a material substance, but it's being activated and connected to our soul, to our spirit, and to our connection with our very source. And as we feel this vertical connection growing stronger, and we feel the light penetrating into our body, the light that fills this column, we then begin to feel these threads that reach out from our hearts, these electromagnetic fibers that begin to weave together all of us in this room, as if they're hands reaching out to shake hands, fibers, threads that weave together to create a fabric, reaching out to connect with all of the fibers of the hearts of all of our loved ones, our friends, our family, our neighbors, even those that are no longer here. We can still connect with them. We connect with all the creatures, with our pets, weaving together this fabric now as it grows bigger and bigger, reaching across the whole of Santa Fe, across your city, and reaching all the way across the state and across the nation, reaching the edges of our continent and reaching the ocean, where millions upon millions of hearts are all weaving their threads into this beautiful fabric that becomes a tapestry filled with the hearts of all sizes and shapes, all generations and beliefs, all religions, all ages, all colors, all weaving into this beautiful tapestry that spreads its web all the way across and around the planet, reaching into all worlds, into all universes, and into all time and into all space. So thank you. Let us come back to this space. I know it's a beautiful space and one would like to stay there for a long time. But it's time to demonstrate how HeartThread actually looks. And these are the ways in which we go into that HeartThread space so that we can begin to receive messages. And what we do is, as a practitioner, we place our hands on the person's back and we start to receive messages from that person's cells so that we're looking at their alignment, we're feeling the messages, the vibrations from their bodies, and then we receive the messages that that body wishes to hear. And that's where we'll stop this introduction, and then we'll move into doing a demonstration. So thank you.